and start with our first game preview of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll dive into some LSU traveling to South Carolina for the first time in 16 years. And as if today's show hadn't made me feel old enough, Aaron, do you know what happened last time LSU played at South Carolina?
Mm-mm.
A young redshirt freshman phenom, fullback / PP on the punt team, tore his ACL in non-contact punt coverage.
Ooh.
That's right. Your boy was wearing 49 at the time. Redshirt freshman, finally seeing the field, right? They got me playing fullback and special teams. I'm fucking pumped. We punt the ball. By the way, the first kick return, that place was lit. Williams-Brice was insane. Garcia at quarter, or not Garcia. Yeah. Garcia at quarterback. Belief in the air. It was a night game. It really felt like, I've always described it like this. It felt like a giant high school game in the best possible way. What I mean is it felt like a fucking party. And like everybody knew each other. And there wasn't this super defined lines between Greek, not Greek, student, nor like citizen. It was just this giant pumped up crowd, man. I had juice flowing through my veins. I'm covering the punt. I know this guy's about to cut back into me, and he has the ball in the wrong hand. I know I'm about to cause a fucking fumble. I might even recover that thing. I'm about to be a hero. He sees me. He does one move, and my knee just explodes.
Ooh.
Just literally explodes. Ends up being, ended up, it's also the game, never forget, where the referee tackled Garcia in a critical possession in the red zone right before half when he may have scored a touchdown, an all-time highlight. We end up winning. I'm out for the year. But, okay, when life gives you lemons, what do? You make lemonade.
Squeeze I lost.
Okay, so I lost my flip phone because I was on crutches. So what did I do? That Monday, I called my mom and I said, I'm so depressed about getting injured. The only thing that's going to make me feel better is getting me an iPhone, which had just dropped at the time. So, silver lining.
She is very generous. Very generous.
Okay, fucking relax.
Very generous.
You need to pump No. Stop. You need to pump the brakes right now. But it was cool. iPhones had just come out. Again, guys, I'm old. This was 16 years ago. And that's how long it's been since LSU's played at South Carolina.
I will say this, like the environment in the game, I agree. The South Carolina environment, vastly underrated for those who have never been. It is wild. I loved and hated playing there. It wasn't like scary, but it was just fun. Like the energy is exciting for everyone. It's a really good time, and it gets loud as hell. I don't know about the pregame festivities though. It's not like they're calling the game. They're just doing the show there.
Yeah, it'll be lit though. It hadn't been there in 16 years. They're 2-0. Yeah. They got belief. They just embarrassed Kentucky on the road, right? So all the old Dominion bitterness is washed away. And because game day hasn't been there in, I think, a decade, Aaron, they're going to want to show out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, the South Carolina fans are some of the most loyal fans in the SEC.
Yes.
By far, some of the most loyal fans. Good, bad, whatever. You can count on South Carolina fans are going to show up. So, yes, it will be a good time. I take it back. Like those fans,
they do the train tailgating, don't they? Don't they? They have some sort of train. The cock bus.
Cockabus.
Is that like the bang bus? Is that related? Because I used to have a Brazzers prescription, and I don't remember seeing the cock bus. Oh, that was a different part of the site. That was your part of the site you used to like. That's right.
Yes.
But yes. They do that. I love the fact that they say cock so open and freely. In fact, I patted myself on the back of my radio show this morning. I haven't made one cock joke on the radio. And you can. When you play South Carolina, absolutely. If you play South Carolina, the cock innuendo technically can be out of control. I can't say suck my cocks, but I can say I'm a big fan of cocks. This is a big cock defense, right? I mean, watch out. If you don't put this cock team in its place, the next thing you know, you're going to let the cocks run the hen house. So you're telling me
next time I cover a South Carolina game that I can use this and I get fired? Or is this radio?
I don't think you should trust me, but especially not because I one time at Stadium when I did a week at shows up there during the spring, I said Kirby, I said Saban cucked Kirby. And I was informed by a producer that if I said that, he used to work at the Big Ten Network, he used to run it. And I was informed that if I said that on the Big Ten Network, they would have fired me immediately and walked me out. So I'm not exactly a good judge. Again, A lot of fun, complete liability. That said, I've avoided it on my show. Okay, let's get to the actual matchup. Even though, did you see the girl last week with the Saturdays are for the Cox shirt? Because that's exactly, it's so good. It's all so good.
So
anyway,
good.
this matchup is actually kind of fascinating. And I'm going to start here. South Carolina has 2 elite pass rushers. The 2 men that are currently 1st and 3rd in the SEC for sacks on the year. What's the young cat's name, Aaron? I'm pulling it up right now.
Well, they have Kennard, the Georgia
Kyle
Tech
Kennard's
transfer.
been there forever. Yep, he's a senior.
Yes,
he's leading the SEC with 3.5 sacks right now.
And he's pretty damn good. The first 2 games, like I had in the first week and seeing him go out there and do his thing, I was like, man, like this guy looks good. And then Dylan Stewart's the freshman, and he is. They didn't say it, but you could feel it that there's another defensive end that was at South Carolina when I played. That there's a lot of chatter about he may and could be better eventually.
Oh, like scary. They don't want to say it out loud as to jinx it, but you're talking about Jadeveon Clowney, obviously.
Yes.
And you're talking about the freshman phenom Dylan Stewart.
Dylan is 6'6", 250, can bend and move like he's 6'2", 220. It is unbelievable.
Yeah, the bend on one of the sacks last week, he was literally about 6 inches off of the ground. And so, again, to start there, think about having those 2 guys going up against Will Campbell and Emory Jones. 2 of the best.
It's good on good, though. So, like, I give advantage. I mean, I guess you're on the road.
I'm just talking about something fun to watch.
Oh, 100%.
That's all I'm talking
like, that
about.
is the matchup. We always talk about, like, receivers, DBs, quarterback versus D. Like, no, this matchup is truly 2 of the best tackles in college football against 2 elite pass rushers that are in a very hostile environment. That is going to be fun to watch.
And yeah, exactly. Right. So exactly. So they're going to have so South Carolina with the crowd on their side, that's going to make it even harder on Campbell and Jones. They're going to have to go off a silent count. And Campbell's actually had a lot of false starts early on here through 2 games. Like LSU's run blocking leaves a lot to be desired. I think they're average a bit disappointingly, but pass blocking is still elite. Like when I'm watching LSU film, I just look at how they're IDing everything, and I don't even really watch the technique because it's just guys locked up. But if I'm Dylan Sampson or Kennard, you know what I'm seeing this weekend? I'm seeing dollar signs. Because if you win these battles, if you go and you get a sack on Campbell, you get a sack on Jones, you know who takes notice? The NFL takes notice. So this can be a resume builder for both sides. Let me ask
you this, T, because obviously you've really done your job looking at the LSU run game and the offensive line. And I've watched it, but, I always enjoy watching the quarterbacks, the receivers, kind of what goes on the back end, that sort of thing. And, like, I just go into the season assuming that, like, this offensive line is elite, and they are elite in the pass protection.
Elite, I think we can agree there. Elite, yes.
But when you look at the stats and Nichols, they only rush for 60 yards, 3 yards per carry against Nichols. At what point on the road do you turn into a straight air raid team for LSU? Like, is that the thought process now? Like, we are going to run just to a couple of times just to show you we can, but we know we can't. So, like, this is 70-30 pass to run ratio for this football game.
So Brian Kelly has maintained this week that the reason why the ratio has been as pass heavy as it has is not because they don't believe in their running game. They are saying it is because it's what the defense is giving them, which is certainly some truth to, right? Like Nichols was playing a lot of cover 1 man, putting an extra guy in the box. And it's like, okay, well, we're going to
why would teams do that? Like, I don't anticipate that happening going forward. That's stupid.
Yeah, no. I think I'm inclined to agree. But still, even with your 20 carries, you only average 3 per. And I've watched the running game closely, and through 2 games, there's just so it's a few different elements. There's not a lot of push. This looks like an O-line, Aaron, that has not had to do traditional run blocking for a few years. Yes. And quite honestly, they kind of haven't. So they're not very practiced at it. The tight ends are pretty awful at blocking. Mason Taylor's all right. The 2 young guys are really bad. And the running backs, John Emery was the best one. He's out now. The running backs, they don't know.
They like, I thought that Caleb Jackson kid, I remember a year going out the game, they were loving the Caleb Jackson kid.
No, athletic freaks. Yes. But they too seem out of practice with gap scheme runs, with your
Mm.
counters, powers. They don't have the patience to let it develop in front of them. Like if you watched Nichols quarterback, whatever, Guggenheim last week, their running back, Louisiana high school legend, Gus Nichols, whatever, his patience. And like if I was Frank Wilson, the LSU running back coach, I would show my own running backs the Guggenheim film because his patience in letting everything develop and then hitting it when he had to is exactly what LSU what their running backs need to work. So it's a bit of a perfect storm of average when it comes to running the ball. And South Carolina's interior D line is good too. So like I think you're gonna have to throw your way to victory if you're LSU here.
I am shocked that like the more we talk about this, the more I'm like, this is not favoring South Carolina, but favoring a competitive football game. Like I know firsthand how tough it is to play quarterback in that stadium. It is extremely tough. Luckily, the game's at noon, I believe, and not like 3:30 or 7. God. But like game day is going to be there, so like I don't think it's like going to be a slow trickle into the stadium. People are going to be up early, excited,
it'll be full and ready to go. Yeah,
it'll be full, ready to go. Sandstorm's going to be going. So like it is very difficult to play there. First off, you don't have a run game that you can just sit back and rely on. And I think South Carolina is going to do kind of the opposite what you talked about. I think they're going to start off mostly with a 2 high safety and say our D line is so good right now. Our front 7, our front 6, and a nickel defense. And your offensive line can't run, pro, that we're just going to protect the pass and see if we can stop the run with a light box, which I would too, until LSU, 1, commits, and then 2, has success doing it. I'm not going to let Garrett get hot because Garrett's been hot through the first 2 games. I mean, 75% completion, 8 touchdowns, 1 pick. You gotta prove to me that you can run the football. Then I'll bring a safety in the box.
Well, and the pick was last play of the game.
Yeah, end of the game.
It's not even really a pick. He's basically 8-0.
I think the line's like 6.5.
LSU's way, I would not touch an LSU bet with a 10-foot pole right now. I still cannot buy South Carolina's offense. So, and that's the other thing too. Like we think LSU should go in there and dominate. Brian Kelly, year 3, that roster, whatever. But you can't run. But the roster,
so advantage of it, and then your defense is still very suspect too.
The defense is real quick. Sean D says, Aaron, your film breakdowns are fire. We'll be doing them weekly. Aaron's committed to 10 quarterback breakdowns a week. I'll be adding in some film as well starting next week. We got some really exciting duo film breakdowns coming out on Wednesday. We got big film plan, guys, so stick around. No, Aaron, the defense is a problem. The personnel is just not that good. Already the interior defensive line was a huge weakness. They were doing a pretty good job of scheming, but now you lose Jacoby and Guillory, by far your most experienced and talented guy. Harold Perkins is a disaster at inside linebacker. He doesn't need to play there. He catches. It's reactive.
They keep trying this. I just he went from best player on defense in college football almost 2 years ago, his freshman year, an absolute stud, wrecking havoc, making plays, tackling quarterbacks. Remember when they were playing Arkansas and they had the backup quarterback and that was like a receiver, super fast, and he's chasing him down in the backfield. Like, just let this dude see ball, get ball. And then they had this master plan to put him inside, and it just has been 2 years of he's been a shell of himself.
I actually think his best position, honestly, I wouldn't even use him as an every down edge guy. I think his best position is the role that Major Burns plays right now, this star role. It's a hybrid safety linebacker. Really? It's a bit like a nickel. Bro, he was good at that nickel backer role last year. Now, Matt House didn't always try, like Blake Baker will try to scheme for him more, but he's really good in coverage. What he's not good at is taking on blocks. Like he catches, there's no pop, there's no extension. And I got to be clear by the LSU linebackers, it's an uphill battle because the D line's not doing them any favors. They're kind of getting whooped up on. So guys are coming free. So the defense, the secondary is not good personnel wise. The linebackers have talent, but it's just Perkins is not working there. The D line suspect. That's why this is going to be a game. And Blake Baker, like paid $2.5 million. He has to. Yeah. He really has to. He has his work cut out for him, trying to find success week in and week out with the personnel that he has.
I flip over to South Carolina's offense. I know there was some success last week versus Kentucky, which is surprising. It's like, I guess maybe what Beamer was saying to me before the first game of, hey, we have one guy that's a returning starter. Everyone else is essentially like a freshman or a redshirt guy, like, or a transfer. Like, this is a brand new offense, and just it's going to be a process. I don't think it was great by any means last week. I think it looked good because Kentucky looked so bad on offense, but it is game number 3 from Lenoris. I think he should take away some confidence of going on the road and beating Kentucky.
He
I think
put up
Rockets
like
looked really. I think
numbers by
Rockets
the end
looked
of the
good.
day too.
What's that?
You haven't done a Sellers breakdown, have you? Like, he put up good numbers by the end of the game.
Yeah,
like
he started getting
for being
going.
his third start, right? I mean, a couple tuds, nice completion percentage. He still has all the athletic ability, and he missed a couple series being hurt as well. You got Robbie Ashford if you want to run the ball. Is it Doty, the other quarterback that they bring in? Or
No,
the Wildcat?
Doty's like full-time receiver, but I don't think you're going to see Robbie. Like, Lenoris is the guy if he stays healthy, because Lenoris can run. Lenoris can, is the better passer of the two, which isn't saying a lot because Robbie struggles throwing the football. To me, Rocket's getting going. Like, I like what I saw week 1 from Rocket. I like what I saw week 2 from Rocket at times. Like, remember, he was a 1,400-yard rusher a couple years ago at Arkansas. So can you continue to build this offense, the zone reads, getting Lenoris on the edge, and a guy that I think is healthy, Jared Brown, receiver. I want to see him get the ball more a little bit for South Carolina too. The Coastal Carolina transfer, he's a freak athlete. So, like, they got a couple pieces. It's just like, it's not a great offense versus not a great defense. Like, who's going to bend? It's a weird matchup.
So no, it's a strength on strength, weakness on weakness. The defense is the strength of South Carolina. The offense is LSU's. They'll be going ahead, and vice versa. I think as far as it's also for both teams, a tale of two games. Mm-hmm. Week 1, LSU loses, but they could emerge feeling pretty good. That's a good USC team that they were, they battled. They had him, and then they lost it. USC stole it. They took it from, beat him up. But it was still a well-played game, right? South Carolina, on the other hand, they're very disappointed in their week 1 win. But they gained momentum as week 2, whereas LSU seemed to maybe lost it. LSU should be better top to bottom, but right now the whole team just feels very shaky. I'll take LSU in a close one. Again, I would not bet on this. I would not touch it. But I thought LSU would have dominated this game. I just chalked up as an easy win before the season, just to show you how much has changed here in just 2 weeks.
I think it's gonna be a good football game. I can't get behind Lenoris just yet. I can get behind Nuss. I think Nuss is good enough to put a team on his back and go out there and win a football game on the road. So I'll take LSU in a close game.